As officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, N.E.M.A, continue their assessment of homes in the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew, they're reporting that as many as 50 homes in Andros have to be completely demolished and rebuilt by the government.
Director of N.E.M.A, Captain Stephen Russell, says the homes in their current state following the storm are deemed uninhabitable and safety is government's utmost priority.
Similarly, in Grand Bahama, we have almost 120 homes that need to be reconstructed. Again, we are trying now to finalize whether we're going to rebuild those homes in those same areas. In Andros, we have identified a subdivision, an existing subdivision, and just a matter of extending that subdivision to see if we can accommodate those 50 homes that are being considered for reconstruction. And similarly, in Grand Bahama, there's some subdivisions in those areas. Discussions are being held as to relocating those persons into those subdivisions that have been identified in Grand Bahama. We hope by the end of this month, December, the end of the year, we have a clear plan of action in terms of where we're going to reconstruct homes, both in Grand Bahama and in Andros.
Captain Russell, who was speaking exclusively with ZNS News, says the plan of action towards restoration and reconstruction following Hurricane Matthew will continue in earnest. The work towards this will, however, be made somewhat easier as donations to the restoration effort continues to pour in. CARLA reports on the dollar amount received to date and the estimated cost of rebuilding and returning normalcy to our island communities.
Director of the National Emergency Management Agency, Captain Stephen Russell, says to date, N.E.M.A has received a total of $1.7 million in cash and check donations in response to Hurricane Matthew since October.
The Bahamian public, corporate Bahamas, and private citizens have been most generous. Last year, Hurricane Joaquin, we got some $1.8 million, and this year $1.7 million.
Millions more are needed to restore normalcy to those islands devastated by the hurricane. National Disaster Relief Coordinator and Minister of Labor and National Insurance, the Honorable Shane GIBSON, gives the estimated damage as $600 million.
And that's not only in damage to property, which is residential government infrastructure, that also takes into consideration the losses that government would have incurred as a result of not being able to collect customs duty and taxes during that period.
Noting the challenges, Minister GIBSON explains the action necessary for a positive outcome in the rebuilding process.
The economy is not as good now as it was back then. Less persons are employed, less persons had their homes insured, and more persons are now looking for assistance from the government. And so that $1.7 million that we've been able to get through donations so far for Hurricane Matthew, that's a drop in the bucket compared to what we will need. And when you look at the fact that the government went to Parliament and borrowed $150 million, or got permission to borrow $150 million to assist with the reconstruction, that also takes into consideration government infrastructure as well. It takes into consideration loans that we agreed to give to public officers and quasi-government entities. And I think when we looked at the figure last week, some $14 million was given out in loans.
In addition to committing assistance to small businesses, owners of multifamily homes, and value-added tax exemptions, Minister GIBSON says the jury is out on the final cost of the restoration following Hurricane Matthew. CARLA, ZNS Network News.